While there are many different flavors of Wi-Fi, as we saw previously, there is one issue that undercuts any Wi-Fi variant out there: security. Although we cannot hope to cover everything there is to know about Wi-Fi security, the goal of this module is to give you a brief primer on key aspects of Wi-Fi security. One of the core parts of wireless is that it cuts through the air without wires. That gives us fabulous connectivity, but because we are transmitting and receiving it through the air, it opens new opportunities for eavesdropping and spying. No need to plant a bug or get on-site access. We simply need to get in range of your wireless device and we can listen in. The gist of the story is that when you connect to unlocked or open Wi-Fi, anyone can and listen in to all of the data that you are sending. We'll start off with a little bit of doom and gloom. While this will not quite rise to the level of a fire and brimstone sermon, there are a few simple guidelines to staying safe on Wi-Fi. First, just as you were taught by kids, stranger danger. Do not join strange or unknown Wi-Fi. While this would seem simple enough, sometimes desperate times seem to call for desperate measures. Never ever join Wi-Fi. The best case, you're stealing an internet connection from someone else. The worst case, the open Wi-Fi is a trap where they're trying to get your data. Second, always prefer locked or secure Wi-Fi. The power cost to operate on secure Wi-Fi is minimal. And now your data between your mobile device and the access point is encrypted from any unauthorized eavesdroppers. More on that later. Third, if you must use insecure Wi-Fi, stick to only secure sites, the one with the lock on the bar via HTTPS, or use what's called a virtual private network or VPN to get where you need to go. With a VPN, you in essence bring your own encryption along. So why all the doom and gloom? Well, when you're using an open or unsecured Wi-Fi, it's the equivalent of running up and down the hall and shouting all the data that you happen to be accessing at the time. Anyone can listen in as opposed to encrypting it or trying to keep it hidden. Feel free to use any password you see fit through those standard password guidelines are of course encouraged. While most folks are not malicious but simply curious, anyone with a laptop or other device can just hop on to see all of the traffic that is going back and forth across the insecure wireless links. A fun fact is actually a Pringles can is a nearly perfect shape for Wi-Fi antennas, and you can capture Wi-Fi signals miles away from the original source. More importantly, the actual Wi-Fi access point could be trying to hijack everything that you're sending through the AP, either eavesdropping to listen in, or even injecting your normal web browsing with ads, viruses, or worse. This type of attack is something called a man-in-the-middle attack and can be brutally effective. Fortunately, not all hope is lost, as the Standards Committee for Wi-Fi had security in mind. To that end, there are multiple approaches towards providing security via encryption on your data. Encryption is the act of using a key that transforms your original data, what we call plain text, into ciphertext, which is the encrypted data. We send that encrypted data over to the other side, i.e. the access point, and the only thing the eavesdropper can see is the encrypted data. If we have designed our security system correctly, the bad guy will not have the key and will not be able to decrypt the data or look back at original text. With us being the good guys, we are of course just fine to decrypt the message and turn it back into its original content before it's sent on to the overall internet. In order for this to work though, we have to agree on the key before we start sending data back and forth. This key, or what's called a shared secret, is what actually makes that encryption go. We refer to this as what's called a PSK, or a pre-shared key that we arrive upon in advance. For early incarnations of Wi-Fi, this might be a long series of hexadecimal digits. Needless to say, those hexadecimal digits can be a little bit hard to remember. Some of you may remember typing in those long strings. Nothing quite rolls off the tongue like 00FA345678. More recent variants have introduced the notion of a passphrase that might range from anywhere from up to 64 bytes to considerably beyond. For most home Wi-Fi, two primary variants can be found in the field: WEP and WPA, WEP and WPA. WPA is vastly superior from a security standpoint, and it's highly encouraged to use due to several security vulnerabilities in WEP. Even more recently, most home APs come with a button marked WPS, or Wi-Fi Protected Setup. WPS requires one to press a button on the access point, and then your device will securely negotiate a key without you having to type anything in the first place. This is much more secure and much easier to do. All right, so let's suppose we have our encryption set up. Now that our Wi-Fi access point is locked, all communications now between our access point and our mobile device are now secure. Anyone eavesdropping cannot see our data. They only see the ciphertext, whether they're on the street or they're a couple blocks away. Moreover, they cannot join our access point. It's now secure. You cannot join unless you have the right password. And overall, our home network is much safer.